So welcome to M365 and Azure. Today we'll be talking about Exchange Online. Now, my name is Temitope Victoria. I'm a technical writer and the cloud engineer. I really appreciate Dynamics Consult for the opportunity to speak and also to be part of the team and also to be a writer for Dynamics Consult. Thank you very much. So today we'll be asking and we'll be learning about Exchange Online. We're going to be asking what is Exchange Online, what are some of the features of Exchange Online, and we're going to find some resources for Exchange Online, and we'll be having a look at the Exchange Admin Center. So let's dive right into it. Okay, so Exchange Online is the message platform that users can use within an organization to manage things like their emails, their calendar, and their contacts. Now, Exchange Online is like a bigger picture, a bigger method of managing things like emails and calendars within an organization. And the best part about Exchange Online is that it's integrated with tools like SharePoint, like Microsoft Teams, like OneDrive, and even Microsoft Outlook. And Children was saying something about backing up your files and restoring your files. One of the advantages of having Exchange Online in conjunction with things like the Security and Compliance Admin Center is that there is also like how do I say now? There's also an opportunity for you to restore files and get files from the Exchange, from the Compliance Admin Center, but they all work with the Exchange Online settings and things with the mailboxes. Because if you know, that OneDrive is actually linked to a mailbox. So the Microsoft Exchange Online helps you to access your emails, your calendars, your contacts from anywhere on any device. Think of you being an employee in an organization, and maybe you have an issue with one laptop and you need to access another laptop, and you still need to be able to sign in. You need to have access to your emails. You need to have access to your accounts. Exchange Online allows you to access your emails and your calendars anywhere on any device. Now, we'll be talking about some of the features of Exchange Online. We have the email communication. Think of a company that has like 1,000 employees. You want to be able to send emails to anybody within the company with ease, like you want it to be seamless. And you also want to be able to have access to your emails without having any issues. So that's one of the features of Exchange Online, which we'll be looking at. We also have what we call the shared mailboxes. And shared mailboxes, we'll talk about that when we see the admin center. Then we also have the focused inbox that organizes your inbox, especially in the Microsoft Outlook. So let's look at the next aspect. Next aspect that we're talking about has to do with calendar, scheduling, and contact. So one thing that is very common within organizations is meetings upon meetings, scheduling meetings, using contacts, and then maybe even sharing calendars. So I want to be able to schedule a meeting with my manager, but I want to know that, okay, my manager is free at this time. And maybe it's not even a manager that you can see. Or let's even say that you're working from home, because that's one of the big advantage of using the cloud. We have different remote employees that work in different countries, from India to Pakistan to US to the UK to Nigeria. And your manager is not someone that you see every day, but you want to be able to schedule a meeting with her. Exchange Online gives you those features and those capabilities for you to set up things like calendars and what we call the freebies, for you to know, okay, your manager is free at this time and you can schedule a meeting with them. So that's another aspect of Exchange Online. Then also we have integration with Microsoft 365, collaboration. Think of the fact that Microsoft 365 has so many tools. Okay, so it's very important for us to remember that a lot of the things that are done with this on Power BI, even they are used with an account, a mailbox, right? Someone mentioned Microsoft Graph. Yes, many times, even when you are running PowerShell on Microsoft Graph, you are using a mailbox with Exchange Online that was created from Exchange Online. Also, another aspect is Teams, SharePoint, and OneDrive. And this makes the user experience like really great and really nice. So another part is, now I'll be talking about the Exchange Online resources before we move on to the admin center, where we're going to spend a lot of time learning. So we have the Exchange Online documentation. I will send this link in the chat. And we also have the Exchange Online blog. So you can check out these resources if you want to learn more about Microsoft Exchange. So now let's have a walk through the admin center. So just a moment. Let me share my screen. Firstly, before you get to the admin center, the first thing you have to do is you have to sign into office.com with your account. Now, disclaimer, Exchange Online, for you to be able to manage things and create things for the Exchange Online, you ought to have a developer tenant, or maybe you are using the subscription like the business standard, business premium, and the Exchange Online also requires, it has its own license, the Exchange Online Plan 1 and Plan 2. So, but for you to be able to manage things in the admin center, because managing things for an organization, they are done within the admin center. The same way we have the Microsoft 365 and we have the Microsoft 365 admin center. So I would be sharing a link in the chat subsequently for us to, let's say you want to do a test and you don't want to, maybe you're not able to buy like a license, like the business plan. We have what we call the, what's the name? The developer tenant. Okay, so so I said you have to sign into the Office Admin Center. Just office.com first. Now, for the admin, there are different kinds of admin roles, the global admin, the help desk admin. But the main thing is just set up your developer tenant, and for test, at least you would you will be able to set up with the global admin. So what we just have to do is click on the admin at this part here. At the left part, you see admin. Once you have the admin access, the developer tenant is like, for example, Microsoft gives us this license. Maybe you're not someone that you are using it like a real organization. You are someone like we are learning with the Exchange Online, or you're learning with security, or you're learning with compliance, or you're learning with OneDrive, and you want to be able to test all these things with limited capacity, and you don't want to have to pay for maybe a business standard license every month or every year. Microsoft gives us this developer tenant for us to use it as a test. Now, once you create a developer tenant with that link, you are giving, like if you're the one that is creating it, you will be given the global admin role. Now, we have what we call identity and access management in Microsoft 365, where we have people that have access. Let's say you're an employee in an organization. You are just, and they give you a mailbox. You will just have a mailbox or that only you is using. But if you are like the CEO in the company, or maybe you are in the IT department, you have higher admin rights whereby you can manage things to people's mailboxes. And that's one of the features of Microsoft 365. That's one of the things that organizations everywhere use. There is always an admin, like there is maybe has an higher executive rights, CEO, IT department, the manager, the finance team, the HR, name whatever it is. Most of them always have admin rights to the entire Microsoft 365 tenant to be able to maintain and manage employees' accounts, their mailboxes, and everything relating to the organization within Microsoft 365. So moving on. So I said you go to admin, right? Then you go to home. Now, when you go to admin, it takes you to the Microsoft 365 admin center. Now, when it comes to Microsoft 365, they are like, we have so many admin centers, but these are the major ones. If you go to all admin center, you see so many. If you read about the Entra, we have Entra, for which, it was first the Azure admin center, but it's now the Entra. We even have Power BI admin center. We have security. We have SharePoint admin. All of these admin centers are used to manage everything relating to all the employees within the organization. But now we're talking about Exchange, right? So there's security, there's compliance, there's endpoint, there's identity, and there's Exchange. Though we'll be looking at the Exchange Admin Center today, but Exchange still has a lot to do with security and compliance. So let's just make progress. Let's talk about the Exchange Admin Center. So just wait for it to load. And now we'll be having a look at this entire screen, the entire admin. So we have the home page. This is the main menu for the Exchange Admin Center. So once you have your developer tenant, you can try all of this. So for Exchange Admin, we have the recipients, the mail flow, the roles, the mobile, the organization, and settings. I'm talking about some of this aspects. So in Exchange Online now, we have four major types of mailboxes. We have what we call the user mailbox. We have the shared mailbox. We have the group mailbox. And we have what we call the room mailbox. User mailbox, shared mailbox, room mailbox, and the group mailbox. Now let's talk about the user mailbox first of all. User mailbox is like the user's personal mailbox. So you have your own personal account, your Microsoft account, right? That's your own personal account. So that is your own user mailbox. Now, the thing about Exchange Online is that Exchange Online is wider. It's more than just the personal accounts that everyone uses. It's majorly for organizations. It has a bigger picture of an enterprise, whether they are organizations of employees of 50, 100, 1,000, 2,000. It's as much as that. So they have several uses and several reasons they have each and every one of these features. So for the user mailbox, I said it's the personal mailbox, right? And it is assigned to like a specific employee. But the honest truth is that the company's administrator, whoever that has admin rights, has access to that person's mailbox and all the data. The person can even retrieve the team's messages. So if you are working in organizations where um, they have admins and you're using Teams, you are using Outlook, they can recover your emails, they can recover your Teams from the compliance admin center. And that's one of the features of Exchange because Exchange powers the messages and these messages are being used by the mailbox. So we also have the shared mailbox. Now a shared mailbox is mostly used by teams in organizations. So let me give an example. Let's say you work in a company that has like 500 employees, and then we have the IT department. Let's assume that people that are in the IT department, they are like 10 people, and you have issues, and maybe they work in shifts. So you don't want to, you want to maybe like send an email to someone in IT that you're having issues with your PC. They can have a shared mailbox where you just send email to that mailbox, and then maybe anybody that is on duty would see the email and they maybe attend to you. So the thing is that shared mailbox allows everybody, maybe like the 10 people within that IT department, to have access to the emails on their Microsoft Outlook. So that way, users can have access. Users can have access anywhere and at any time. So if you send an email to maybe like this shared mailbox, for example, let's say it's Ibrahim that is on duty and he has access to the shared mailbox because he's in the IT department, he would see the email. So I don't have to start thinking, oh, who might be on duty or who can I send an email to for the shared mailbox. And another advantage of the shared mailbox is that it does not require a license. Because one of the challenges that people always have in organization is they're always trying to manage costs. Because okay, maybe they are buying $4 or $12 for a license per user, and they have like 1,000 users, and they don't want a situation whereby maybe their IT department will have to use a mailbox that requires a license again. So they can just use a shared mailbox, and it saves them, cost. So that's one part of the shared mailbox. So I've talked about the user mailbox and the shared mailbox. Another aspect is the group mailbox. The when we talk about groups, we'll see that more. We have the Microsoft 365 groups. We also have what we call the mail-enabled security group. Then lastly, we have what we call the room mailboxes. Now these room mailboxes, they are just like if they represent a physical location for a meeting. They're mostly used for just meetings and conferences, just to book a meeting. Maybe like if you are in organizations where they do things like town hall meetings, they can have a specific mailbox that is just for meetings for everybody within the organization. So that's for the room mailbox, and would see that one in resources. So now let's learn more about the user mailboxes. let's have a look at this mailbox. So if you want to create a mailbox for the first time, so for the shared mailbox does not have a password. The shared mailbox has people that have access to it. The senders permissions and the full access permissions. So if you have full access, that means you can open the mailbox and send emails from the shared mailbox. It doesn't have a password. So you would then ask, how will you mention something about personal email? So we have two ways you can access the shared mailbox. For Microsoft Outlook, we have the Outlook desktop application, the one you download on your PC. And we have what we call Outlook on the web, which is called OWA, OWA. So we have different ways that everyone has access to the shared mailbox. For OWA, what you just have to do is open your Outlook on the web and then go to open another mailbox. Once you click on open another mailbox, it brings out the box and you have to type out the email address of this is it. So once you click on it, if you have permissions, it would open up. It would open the shared mailbox for you. I don't know if I give myself permissions, but it would open the shared mailbox in a separate tab. So can you see it now? So this is how it works on the OWA tab, on the Outlook on the web for a shared mailbox. It opens separately. But if it is Outlook desktop application, we have what we call auto mapping. It would be auto mapped to your Outlook desktop app. So I don't really have my Outlook desktop application open right now, but on your Outlook desktop app, it would be right there. Like once you have access, you would find it below your email address, below your own account. So once you see your account, you see one, like for example, the way we have my inbox here, you would see the email address, the shared mailbox at the bottom on your Outlook desktop application. So that's how the shared mailbox works. Yeah.
Okay. Once you are added to the shared mailbox, it will automatically auto map to your personal inbox. So when you have your inbox, you have the shared mailbox. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Yes, it's auto mapped. Yes, exactly. You got the word. It's auto mapped. So that's how it works for the shared mailbox. If you are just like a normal employee and you don't have access to the admin center, maybe you're even maybe a new person in the company, you won't be able to create it because it's only those that have admin rights and maybe they have executive rights, and because they know why people need this thing. But you as a normal member, right, they can actually add you. They can decide to add you. You can have access. It depends on what you are doing or who you are in the company or the reason for the shared mailbox. It may not necessarily be in the IT department. Let's say you are in a team and within that team, maybe they made you the head of the team, just to manage things within the team. Within the admins, they can create a shared mailbox and give you permission to the full access. They can give you a full access permission to the shared mailbox, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you can create it. You may have access to it, yes, but it doesn't mean that you can create it. So that's just it. All right. So I will talk more about the shared mailbox once I finish talking about the user mailbox on this side with the settings. So we have different settings for user mailbox on the Exchange Admin Center. If you check the Office 365 Admin Center, it may not necessarily be the same settings, but this is how it looks on the Exchange side. So let's talk about the general settings first. So it shows the first name and the last name, the display name, and the user ID. So this is the email address that this employee would use to sign in once they click on office.com. Then, so they have their email addresses, and then they have their mailbox usage, which is 100 gig. Now, based on the license for this user, I think it's the E5 license. So they have the 100 gig. This user has the 100 gig license. I can say that it's barely used. So this is another setting called hide from global address list, what we call GAL. So the GAL is like a container. I'll use the word container, like a container that houses all the addresses of everyone within the organization and even contacts, maybe like external contacts you added on this side. So if you don't want people to find this email address,